Lovelies, welcome to Saturday Stash Dive. I am teamed up with Carla this week, and she is Scrapologist, and you can go check her out on her YouTube channel. And we have challenged each other to play with die cuts. So I started out with my die cutting machine and used the silhouette, of course. And it was going to take a little bit too long to just kind of dip it in the brush. So I took my Lindsay Stamp Gang and I actually just poured it out. And the way it pooled up, I really, really loved. And I ended up doing that with 4 different colors. And I die cut out the hearts. I just had downloaded the hearts and or one heart, and I resized it and just cut it out in various places on the layout and trimmed about I guess about an eighth, well, a quarter on each side. Well, no, okay, a quarter on 2 sides, which is an eighth all the way around. And I kept the little hearts that got cut out, and I watercolored them with the Lindsay Stamp Gang as well. And you'll see what I do with those in a moment. But the 4 colors of Lindsay Stamp Gang is Saltwater Taffy, Pineapple Paradise, Mango Mania, and Love at First Sight Lavender. And I think the lavender is the prettiest of them all. It's, you know, right in trend with everybody doing the radiant orchid and the purple and that sort of thing. So yeah, I really like how this layout turned out, and I am going to do some more like this in my, well, I keep calling it my gratitude album, but I want to come up with a different name because that just seems kind of cliche, and it's not so much that, it's more about the way people have influenced my life or something. I don't know. I'll come up with something. But here I'm just drying each color really well because these will move on you if you reactivate them with, you know, more Lindsay Stamp Gang or color or what have you. So I was afraid of doing that, and I was careful to make sure that each part of the watercolor was very dry. So you can see that the Lindsay Stamp Gang is highly pigmented and more opaque than traditional watercolors, and so I just really like how that turned out. And this is going to be a picture of my lovely daughter London, and from her Instagram. And I primarily use die cuts that are from like Cosmo Cricket and Dear Lizzie Daydreamer, and a couple of ones that I had in my stash, and I don't know who they're made by, and I apologize for that. But then a couple of the hearts that you see there, I'll stick inside of the cutout hearts, but I'll pop them up. And the background paper is beautiful. I hated to cover so much of it up, but the colors just went so well. And it is the Prima Fairy Flora collection, and it's called Sunlit or Sunlight Daisies. And yeah, I should have inked the edges before I glued it down, but you really have to use a good glue, because when you die cut out images like that, or any kind of image, and then add watercolor, it makes the paper bow, and you know, it breaks apart the paper fibers. So it's not going to be completely flat no matter what you do, but gluing around all of the die cut out hearts made a huge difference on how flat it sat. And I thought I was going to use this doily that Kathy had sent me in a rack, but I don't end up using it. The inks that I end up pulling are the Distress ink in Mustard Seed, and I think you saw me use the pink one, that's Versamark, and it's just called Pink. I also pulled in some of my 6x6 paper pads and from the Maggie Holmes crepe paper collection, and the Glitz Pretty in Pink, and also Tea Time by Prima. Those were the 6x6 pads I used. And here I'm just inking up those edges. This layout, because of the watercoloring and the heating time, it took about 52 minutes, which is pretty long for me. Normally I'm around 40 minutes, but you know, die cutting out the hearts and then watercoloring them and all that, and drying time. But Lindsay dries pretty quick. I was pretty happy with that. So here I'm just popping up the back on foam tape and adding the Dear Lizzie die cuts. And of course I didn't have to add foam tape all the way up the little girl because the picture was already popped up. And here's those die cuts that are kind of like labels that I couldn't remember where they came from. They were just in a bag full, and like strays, leftover strays. I'm pretty sure they were from a punch-out die cut apart kind of thing, but I don't know. And these little flowers are from, and butterflies are from the Cosmo Cricket die cut collection, and they're called Lovely Bits, Butterflies and Doilies. That's easy. And I'm just kind of layering up the die cuts, adding back in those die cut hearts. And the page, okay, sorry about that. My narration times out, so that threw me for a loop. I had to get it back on track. Anyway, the page came together really easy, and what's funny is I usually am so heavy-handed with die cuts. With die cuts and embellishments, and I really wasn't that heavy-handed with this. You can see I used my Sakura pen, which I love, 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 and I added a Maggie Holmes bow and a couple of homemade enamel dots, and that's it. I hope you enjoy. Ta-ta for now. Bye.